Brilliant parapsychologist Elise Rainier receives a disturbing phone call from a man who claims that his house is haunted. Even more disturbing is the address, 413 Apple Tree Lane in Five Keys, New Mexico, the home where Elise grew up as a child. Accompanied by her two investigative partners, Specs and Tucker, Rainier, Elise travels to Five Keys to confront and destroy her greatest fear, the demon that she accidentally set free years earlier. The movie came out in 2018, distributed by Sony Pictures and Universal Pictures. And with it being by Universal Pictures, I would think the movie would be available on Peacock, but it doesn't make a difference to me, really, because I have all the movies on YouTube, obviously. Now, what surprised me just a little bit is that, so I thought this movie was, I give it about a 8.5. The third one gets a 9. This one actually was on a smaller budget and it grossed a lot more. So the last movie had a budget of $13 million and had a box office of $113 million. Actually, I think the budget was like $11 million. This one right here has a budget of $10 million and it grossed nearly $168 million. So again, amazing numbers for any type of horror film, whether it be a slasher or a supernatural, psychological suspense, that type of thing. The scores on this movie, I will say, are a little bit lower compared to the third. Rotten Tomatoes and Metacritic gave it, so Rotten Tomatoes, 33. Metacritic, 49. Movie Database, 57. Google users, 76. A lot better there. Now, how does Common Sense Media break it down? Again, jump scares. In this movie, psychic paranormal investigator Elise has recently wrapped up the Quinn Brenner case from the third movie, but nightmares are plaguing her sleep. Memories of her dark childhood in Five Keys, New Mexico with her abusive father keep coming up. Before long, Elise gets a call from a terrified Ted Garza, who lives in her old house and is being terrorized by malevolent spirits. Joined by her knucklehead sidekicks, Specs and Tucker, Elise begins her examination. More dark secrets from her past turn up, including memories of her younger brother, guilt over her mother, a lost whistle, and a gaggle of ghosts. But Elise makes a startling discovery. There's something different about these ghosts. Is it any good? The fourth entry in this successful horror series is an example of diminishing returns. Though the characters are still interesting, it's clear that less care and attention were given to this movie. Well, it grossed more on a tighter budget, so, I mean, that's debatable. Depends on who you ask. Filmmakers James Wan, whose first Insidious was the best, and Leigh Whannell, or Leigh Whannell, I guess it's Leigh, I think I said Leigh in the last video, that was a mistake. Leigh Whannell have hired a second stringer, Adam Robitel, to helm Insidious 4, The Last Key, and it shows. He gamely tries to follow the playbook, and comes up with one or two great spooky scenes, including one which Elise makes a startling discovery about a tube-shaped air duct, but the director mostly relies on loud noises and jump scares. The movie's theme of family doesn't quite click well with all those scenes. All those scenes are awkward and soapy. Frankly, the best reason to see this is Lynn Shay, a wonderful character actress who embodies sweetness and vulnerability and also has a weathered, fearless quality. Now in her 70s, she's come into her own recently as a horror star. This movie has finally elevated her to leading lady status, and that's exciting to see. Families can talk about the violence. Again, the same as the first three. No slasher. Some scenes of people getting thrown around. Lots of jump scares, darkness, untimely shrieks, pop-ups, things like that. If you're a person who can't stand that stuff, I mean, if you're a horror fan, but let's say you don't like it to that degree, I mean, if anything, I'd probably suggest if you watch it in broad daylight. You might want to start this at like 11 a.m. or noon or something like that. That way, by the time it gets done, it's still daylight. You got plenty of time to watch other things, watch some funny things to kind of get that off your mind so it's not the last thing when you fall asleep. But I love to watch this stuff at night. I like that intense suspense stuff. How much of it is directed against women? Is it shocking? Does the fact that the main character is a strong female affect the impact of that kind of violence? Is Elise Rainier a role model? Why or why not? Yeah, so there was violence against women and men in this one, and I would say she's a role model in the sense that she almost like that final girl type, so almost like your Alice Hardy, Nancy Thompson, Laurie Strode, Sidney Prescott type character, except they were dealing with, obviously that's the slasher stuff, and she's willing to, put her own life at risk to save others. And I think that's quite a heroic move. How scary is this movie? On a scale of 1 to 10, I give the scariness of the movie I give it about a 6 or 7 as far as the scariness. The overall movie itself, like I said, about an 8, maybe 8.5. How does this film compare to the 3 previous films in the series? I think that the other ones were a lot scarier. So the scariness of the first movie for sure was very close to a 10. I'll say that much. I guess I factor in the part where a lot of people they feel it gets redundant after a time, but all us real horror film geeks, horror film fans will just really, we indulge in it so much, and, we're going to like it regardless. What does the movie have to say about courage and compassion? Are these things championed, rewarded? Yeah, I would say they're championed and rewarded, because as I said, they stick together, they work as a team, and they got to defeat evil. So, again, I don't see that this movie is available. Now, you can rent the movie on YouTube or Apple TV or Google Play Movies and TV or Amazon or Vudu. Of course, I bought it on YouTube, as I always state. So, other than that, another great film by, I'm sorry, who was it again? I'm losing it right now. Yeah, I'm sorry. Adam Robitel. And good job to Blumhouse Productions and Stage 6 Films. So, the movie came out in 2018. I remember seeing it in theaters, really suspenseful. I saw 3, 4, and 5 in theaters. The first one I didn't. The second one I don't think I did. But if they happen to release a 6th film, I'll be there for it. So like and subscribe. I got more movies and shows to talk about.